Today we're going to be talking about affirmative and negative expressions. Okay, before we do that, we actually need to go over the vocabulary. So copy down all the affirmative words first. Pause the video if you need to after I'm done writing them. Okay, there are your affirmatives. Pause now so you can copy them down. And then I'm going to write down the negatives as well. Okay, there are all your negatives. Now we need to actually translate these so you know what they mean. Algo significa something. So nada, nothing. Alguien, someone or somebody. Nadie, no one or nobody. I forgot to add though, algo can also mean anything. You've already technically learned something meaning algo before. We also have algún or alguno or alguna. This actually means some or any, which means that ningún or ninguno or ninguna would mean none or not any. Siempre you've used before, always. And nunca you've also seen before, never. También, you've also seen this one, and it also means also, or too. Like I also do this, or I do this too. And then we have tampoco, which would mean neither or either. So like I don't do this either, I don't do this either. Okay, pause it down if you need to use these to finish copying your answers down. So negative and affirmative expressions are used a little bit differently in English and Spanish, and because of that you need to see some examples, okay? So we're going to go through all of these words and how you would use them, and also how you would use them in the negative. So número uno, quiero comer. So I want to eat. I want to eat something. Quiero comer algo. Okay, as opposed to the negative, if you don't want to eat anything, no quiero comer nada. Okay, the first thing that you're probably going to notice about this sentence is that there's a double negative. So we have no and we also have nada. So there's two ways that we're expressing or using negative expressions here. So no quiero comer nada. What it would literally translate to is I don't want to eat nothing. Okay, grammatically correct in Spanish, not in English. So that is going to be one weird thing about these negative expressions when you use them. Okay, moving on to somebody. Quiero invitar a alguien. So I want to invite somebody. Okay, and if we're trying to make that a negative expression, no quiero invitar a nadie. Or I don't want to invite nobody. Double negative again. Okay, número tres. Quiero comer algún postre. Or I want to eat some dessert. As opposed to I don't want to eat any dessert. No quiero comer ningún postre. Weird thing about this one, obviously again, we have our double negative. Okay, quiero tomar alguna limonada. So I want to drink some lemonade as opposed to no quiero tomar ninguna limonada. So I don't want to drink any lemonade, or I don't want to drink no lemonade. Okay, I always drink coffee, or always I drink coffee. Siempre tomo café. As opposed to our negative, two ways that we can do this one. We could say nunca tomo café, never I drink coffee, is what that literally translates to, or no tomo nunca café. Okay, now what is the difference between these two right here? We have the nunca before, or we have the no before with the nunca after the verb. Okay, so you can actually use nunca before a verb, but then you don't need the double negative. If you have it after the verb, like it is in the second example, you need the no. Okay, here we have another affirmative. If somebody says a statement and you also do something like that, so me gusta el pollo, I like chicken, or me gusta el pollo también, that would be a good response, okay, using the word too, or also. Okay, on the other hand, if you're agreeing with a negative statement, so no me gusta el pollo, you could say no me gusta el pollo tampoco, so I don't like chicken either, or you could also use this one before, tampoco me gusta el pollo. So if you're going to use the tampoco after the verb, like in the first one, you need the no before. So you're going to have a double negative. Whereas if you use it before the verb, like it is in the second example, you don't need the double negative. Okay, a few notes for you. Alguno and ninguno must agree in number and gender with the noun that they're replacing or accompanying, okay? Now, the problem with this is that in front of a masculine singular noun like chico, our first example here, alguno and ninguno change to algún and ningún. Okay, but for the rest of them, they're going to follow the rule. So chicos would be algunos, because we need to make it plural also. And then ningunos, or no boys. Okay, we also have maestras, so some teachers would be algunas maestras, or no teachers, or not any teachers, ningunas. Okay, and we also have maestra, so alguna maestra, or ninguna maestra. So really, the only one that you really have to pay attention to is masculine singular nouns. Okay, so that one's going to be the weird one. Okay, also, when the word no comes before the verb, you must use a negative word after that as well. Okay, now this is what we call a double negative. So a double negative is actually required in Spanish, even though we were talking about how it's not required in English. Okay, so we do need the double negative when you use no before the verb. Okay, some examples of this would be yo no como nada. So if you're trying to say I don't eat anything, yo no como nada, or I don't eat nothing. So double negative. And then again, no como el pollo nunca. Okay, so here we have a double negative again. I don't eat chicken never. Okay, this does sound a little strange. You just need to get used to you need to get used to using it. What you'll also notice too is you'll see nada directly follows como, but here we have nunca at the end of the sentence. Regardless of where it's placed, if it comes after the verb that you see, you're still going to use the double negative. Okay, in contrast, if a negative word like nunca or nadie precedes, so comes before the verb, then there's no double negative necessary. Okay, a couple examples for that would be nunca canto. So never I sing, or I don't ever sing. Another example, nadie en la clase habla italiano. So nobody in class speaks Italian. Okay, your turn to try it out on your own. You have two translations at the bottom. Okay, I would like you to translate those. Negative expressions. And you're going to see that there's two spots for your answer, so A and B, okay? So I want you to try using just the negative word before the verb, and then I would also like you to try to use it after, so this is where you're going to have your double negative. Okay, try those out. We'll go over them when you return with your notes. Adios.